Welcome to A Bit Much with T.W. Clausen. I'm T.W. Clausen, and I'm going off the cuff today. Guys, look at this. Look, a little Donatello, a little Iron Fist. I found those at a shop in Portland and convinced a coworker to buy them for me. So thanks, coworker. Guys, it's been a while. You know, I did an episode a couple weeks ago, and a lot of stuff has happened in not the 2 weeks, but the like 2 months prior to that 2 weeks, and that I want to talk about, that I'm excited about. And so we're going to talk about that and be excited about it. Are you excited about it? Are you excited about it? I know you're excited about it. You better be excited about it. First thing is I'm on Facebook still, like grandpa, and I, chat with people on the Facebook, and I do stalking on the Facebook and all kinds of weird, like I play Farmville. I'm so close to beating it, you guys. I'm so close to beating Farmville. And it's been a hard 10 years of my life, but we're getting there. And I'm going to do a whole video of me beating Farmville. That's not going to happen. Don't get excited about that. But we're here. We're gonna talk about some stuff. I got my plaid on plaid. That's going to be my thing now. It's just, plaid on plaid. Actually, I love this. I love this shirt. Because I love the black with the whatever happened. I saw people. I used to do t-shirts for a living. Like I used to print t-shirts for a living. It was super fun, very cool. And I had a guy who would come in and he'd get t-shirts printed with a print that he wanted to do, that he created, and then he'd cut out that, and it would be a t-shirt fabric that he would then go and he would sew onto the shirt, like another shirt, like a black shirt or whatever. And it was the coolest thing. And at the time, I was like, whatever, not that big a deal. But now, I don't know what it is. If my brain chemistry has just changed enough to where I look at that and I'm like, that's the coolest idea for a t-shirt ever, is like just a black shirt, but with like a fun print on the pocket. And that's what I want my entire wardrobe to turn into. If I can find shirts that fit me, because big boy over here doesn't like to wear shirts that show off the entire belly area. If I can find shirts that fit me, I'm definitely going to try and build an entire wardrobe of just fun pockets, fun pocketed shirts. It's going to be my thing. It's going to be like, everyone's going to be like, oh, there's Tyler walking down the road with a fun pocket. Is that what I want? Is that what I want out of life, is for me to walk by? I don't want people to be like, there's the famous author who's cultivated an entire genre of themes and has struck in morality to a point where ethics has been dissected into a more modern era in which we understand ourselves better. Nah, I think it's going to be the pockets. I think it's going to be the pockets on black shirts. It's going to be my thing. So I was on Facebook. I feel so old. I forgot what I was talking about. And I was talking about Facebook. I feel so old right now. And a memory popped up on there as it does. And it was from 2008, when I was just a young lad. Right out of high school. I was living on my own for the first time with a couple of roommates through the housing system of our college. I had been given this great power of a digital camera and a laptop, and I was supposed to just go do homework with those things. That didn't happen. I mostly watched kids shows in my bedroom alone, in the dark, and then I found out that there's a camera on my computer, which I thank God every day that I didn't know about web chats and things where I can watch kid shows while filming myself, because I probably would have ended up doing that because I was a dumb person. And so I made this.
Well, this is my first webcast thing, whatever you call it. Just thought I'd, do it. And the reason... Anyway, I just thought, I'd let you guys know that I'm thinking about doing this. So, just look for, some more.
What kind of person sits in a room and just records themselves talking to a camera? Am I right? That's dumb. That's a dumb thing to do. I thought it would be fun to share that with you guys because, one, I'm trying to remember the fact that I'm doing this as a sort of almost as a when I'm dead, I hope you'll watch this sort of thing. So it's kind of a way for me to put some memories in here. I've shared stuff about my son as a baby and now a little bit about me as a baby, a little baby Tyler, making videos in his living room. But it's a good reminder that we all have to start somewhere, right? That's the moral of the story today is that we all have to start somewhere. You're gonna suck. You're going to be bad at what you do. Look, I don't think I'm great. I don't think I'm like super great at this even. I'm adequate at podcasting. I can get by with video, but I'm a lot better than I used to be. And I'll be honest, I do know that I'm a lot better than a lot of people. But you watch this video, this old video of me, you look at, I'm going to bring it up, this face, and you listen to me being a dumbass. By the way, guess what? Guess how many videos I made after that? 0. Nunsies. It's going to be a no for me from any other video. It wasn't until I got closer to graduating film school that I decided maybe I should start filming myself and doing little movies and videos with me and my friends. At the end of this video, I'll share one of those. And trust me, you're gonna want to watch it, okay? Because it doesn't get much better than what we just watched. But yeah, that's the moral of the story today is you're going to get better at something. You just got to suck at it first. You got to be willing to be bad at what you love so that one day you can be great at something you probably lost the passion for along the way. Anywho, I before I get more into my sermon on being bad, I did want to point out that I have some pretty exciting news on being a guest on somebody's show. I don't know what it is about me, but people don't ask me to be on their shows ever. Like I've never been asked to be on somebody's show. Which is, sad. Because I feel like I'm a pretty fun guy. I'm a mushroom of a man. I'm a fun guy, and I don't, maybe I'm not though, maybe I need to come to terms with the fact that I'm sitting in a room alone, talking to a camera, hoping that people are going to watch this. And there's a reason why I'm sitting alone in a room talking to a camera and not talking to like 3 or 4 other people who claim to be my friends. So think about that. Think about that for a second, because I sure have. Anyway, depressing thought aside, I was able to con my way into being on somebody else's show, which is always super fun because that I have done before as well. Very good friend of mine, Britt Winchester, thought she invited me on her show, but in reality, I forced her to invite me on her show, and that was fun. But that was like 3 years ago. And, I was getting the cravings again. It was coming, I was getting withdrawals from the old pod con, you know what I'm saying? The old Tyler pod con. And so I was able to con some friends of mine into thinking that they wanted me on their show, and I was on their show. I'm very, very excited about it. It's a D&D podcast, Unbalanced Encounters, and I've been working with Unbalanced Encounters for about a year now, actually, on a lot of stuff on the back end. They started a couple of years ago with their D&D actual play show, and I fell in love with it immediately. I actually tried out to be on the show, but of course we've covered this. Nobody likes me and doesn't want me on their show, and that's fine, because they still wanted me to be in their Discord and a part of their community and hang out with them online. And that was really, really cool. And making friends through D&D, making friends on the internet was really, really fun. It is fun, not was fun. They haven't kicked me out or anything. It's not like they realized how I conned them yet. So I went on their show where they're doing one-shots. Basically, if you don't know anything about D&D, you can run a campaign for years. But then there's these things called one-shots where you can make a character and you're going to play a couple of sessions, and it's just going to be, off-the-wall bonkers, doing all kinds of crazy stuff. It gives DMs a chance to try new stuff, maybe to step back from DMing, give somebody a chance to try DMing in a group. It gives players a chance to make new characters and enjoy that whole process, because we're constantly thinking of new characters that we want to play. So one-shots are really fun to do because they just kind of add some variety to the game. And Unbalanced Encounters is doing it because they have a lot of lore and story in the world that they're playing in. And, it has a way of getting away from you as a DM, and you want to tell all these stories, but you can't. And then other people get excited about your world as you start to create more and more stuff, and they want to try and play in it as well. And that's exactly what happened. Patrick Perini, the DM of Unbalanced Encounters rally campaign, has this whole world that he's created. And so one of their players, Cinder, has created a one-shot that takes place in it, and he wanted to do a horror one-shot, super scary and Lovecraftian, that sort of thing. And that called to me, and so I put my name in to be like, hey, you guys need to have me on the show. I've been hanging out with you guys for a while now, so come on, let's go. Bring me on the show. You know what I mean? So they did. They brought me on the show, and I cannot speak highly enough about this group of people. Not just the people I played with, the whole group. Patrick and Sam were not a part of the one shot, but the other three, Cinder, Emily, and Craig, were a part of it, and I was so excited to play with them. It was super weird to hear Craig talking and not being his character, because I've been so used to hearing that. And it was just fun to listen to them talk, and then I could say something and they responded, because I'm so used to them being in my ear. And that was really fun. And I got a chance to play Dungeons and Dragons with people that play it the way that I want to play it. There is battle, there is strategy, but there's story, and there's role playing, and there's crafting this tale that goes into it. And I absolutely adored the whole process. I got compliments that they liked playing with me, and that boosted my confidence a lot, and it made me feel pretty good about myself as a player, as a storyteller, and it was just awesome. And so that comes out, the first episode, it's going to be 3 episodes, I believe. The first episode comes out on June 20th, and it's going to come out on their Patreon. And before you go and turn off the video and that's not going to happen, they're going to offer it to every person who becomes a patron. And not to sound like a douchebag, but you don't have to be a patron the whole time if you don't want to. You can just kind of get on there get your podcast and get out. Don't do that. I mean, if you want to do it, but don't do that. Give them a few months. What if you go in? They have like $3 a month is their lowest tier. Give these people $15. You know, it's a few months out of your life, and you get the audio for all 3 of the podcast episodes. And you might fall in love, and they're going to do more shorts and add to the library. So it will be worth the money. But I'm not necessarily here to, sell you on somebody else's Patreon, because you're busy signing up for my Patreon, right? Right. Robert De Niro now. Huh? You gonna sign up? What I want to stress is that this is a very fun thing that I was able to do. And when I started playing D&D at 12 years old, I had no idea what I was doing. When I started writing, I had no idea what I was doing. Now I've gotten to a place in life where when I can play with, they're friends, but I'd never played D&D with them before. So in a sense, they were complete strangers. I was able to just kind of roll into it and be a part of their crew and help tell a story. And I'm trying really hard to not sit here and be like, oh, look at me, I'm the friggin' greatest D&D player in the world, you should have me in your show. But I do think that I'm good at it, good enough to where I can join a group and help the story unfold and see what's happening enough to where I can help cultivate other characters into where they need to be. And I mean, I'll let my resume speak for itself. If you go and listen to Players Guild episodes that I did, if you listen to these episodes with Unbalanced Encounters, you can go and decide for yourself. You can go read my stuff and decide for yourself. So I there is a point where I do have a little bit of pride in what I've done. And that all comes out of experience and being really bad at doing all of the stuff that I do. I've written so many words that are just utter and complete trash. And at a certain point, you have to stop and realize that you are bad at writing, or else you'll never get better. You'll never get good. If you think you're great at writing now, you need to stop. You need to stop, and you need to reevaluate what you're bringing to the table, because you're feeding an ego trip and it's delusional. I say this with all the love in the world. It's a little bit harsh. I don't know what your writing specifically is like, Fred. Man, I hope there's a Fred watching. I have zero idea if there's a Fred watching. It's just really funny, the idea that you're just watching. I was like, what the hell? But your writing can be better. You're not that great. Be better. There's so many people writing nowadays. There's so many authors that can just be self-published. You just throw some slop on the page and then you throw it out on Amazon and you're a published author. It's not a lie. It's so easy to hit that threshold. And it's been bothering me for a while that I see the oversaturation of our entire field, not because I feel like they take away from what I do, but because I want those people to find some success. I want you to find the niche, the group of people that love your work. And in order to do that, you got to be honest with yourself, and you got to be humble, and you got to say, look, I have written a lot of work. I've done a lot of work, and you have. I know I did. I spent hours poring over storycraft and reading and trying to become better and writing. I think I wrote something around 300,000 words, 2 stories, 2 full novels, and kind of a novel, but it was supposed to be a comic book That's how bad I was. I didn't even know how to write a comic book. I just wrote a novel and was like, yeah, it's a comic book. Before I started to realize I should probably edit my work before I start throwing it out there. And I had an editor who was interested in checking it out, and she did a really good job for the slop I gave her. And I feel bad now for kind of putting her through that and constantly saying like, what do you think? Is it good? Is it good? It's not good. Stop asking if it's good. It's not good. It's got promise. And so I wrote a bunch of words, and then I let it sit for a while, and then I started reading more and really understanding what it takes to create good story, create worlds, create character arc and plot. And I feel bad because a lot of people think that the first draft, the first time you write, you have to create this big thing and it has to be perfect, because then you'll get a book deal, and then you can be a rich, famous author. And the more I studied that with Between Lewis and Lovecraft, the more I knew that wasn't true. A lot of authors, best-selling authors, still had to have a full-time job. And you never stop learning. So don't be afraid to start learning. Don't be afraid to say, okay, I'm going to write something, and while I write, I'm going to learn how to do a better job. That's the big takeaway for me. It's the same thing that happened with podcasting. When I started podcasting, the first podcast I ever did, I was at a t-shirt printing company. I was trying to get a job as a t-shirt printer, and I was making videos at the time. And the guy that owned the shop was like, "Hey, you're really cool. You do graphic design, you do video. Have you ever done a podcast?" I was like, "No, I have no idea what that is." And so he took me into his studio where he did like a podcast for an audience, and he just had it on his phone. Like, he just had a microphone connected to his phone, and he gave me one side, he took the other, and then he just asked me questions, and that was it. That was the whole freaking podcast. That was it. We talked for like 20 minutes, I think, and he called me Bear Claw because he couldn't remember my name as Tyler, but he remembered my last name. Very weird. And after that, I was like, this is amazing. This is fantastic. I want to do more of this. And my brother and I, we argued about comic books and nerd things anyway. So I was like, hey, let's argue about that while we record ourselves. And we did. I got the mixer. I put my microphone in a cup that was sitting on books. And that was my microphone stand. And we just talked, and we argued about stuff, very, very old, dated stuff now. I've gone back and listened to it, and I'm like, oh, wow. We weren't sure if they were going to make a Hulk movie. That's cool. Didn't realize that was that old. And it was awful. It was so dumb and contrived, and like, there was no point to it, but it was fun to do. It was a fun way to hang out with my brother and try this new stuff out. And then when he got too busy, I had another friend, and as soon as he and I decided to start doing stuff, we paid a guy to produce for us. And I was like, everything you're doing, I can do. There's no reason for me to pay you to do this. And he was a great guy. He did a very good job with what he was given. And you know, that show, the Vision Obscured podcast, I don't know if you can find it anymore, was just us trying out being funny and trying to see what we could do with this podcasting thing. And all the time I look back on all the stuff I do and I cringe, and it's hard to believe that I did and said the things that I did and said. And I'm sure in 10 years I'll look back on this and I'll be like, what were you talking about, dude? Chill. Stop being so dumb. But at that point, I'll be better. And I'll be able to look at my progression and say, yeah, I've gotten better. And that is the goal, is to look at your work. As long as you can look back at your work and hate what you did because you know you're better now, then that's a good place to be. But if you're constantly talking about how good the work is that you did 10 years ago, you need to reevaluate. And you need to work on being less egotistical and create something that changes you. That's what I got. That's it for this week. I got a video of me. I got the Unbalanced Encounters. Blight at the Museum is the name of it, the short that I'm in. Go check that out when it comes out, June 20th, with Unbalanced Encounters. I am currently working on the next Penny Lich. We're working through it. We're done with the first story of the third bundle. We're working through the second story. I'm really hoping that the third volume, the whole bundle, will be out in time for the Canby Art and Literature Fair. I was very afraid of saying the word literature because I'm bad at saying it. But you should check that out. July 22nd is when it is going to be. And I'm going to be there with the table, the covering and the books. So you can come check it out. Come check out all of that and get the first 2 copies of the book for sure. I've got a whole stock of them back here, and hopefully the third one will be out by that time. Very, very, very excited about it. It's really fun. I've started working on the 4th volume just a little bit, but I already have the cover for it started because I reached out to an artist, and they were very excited to work on this with me. So we just got right to it. And the piece that she's doing is beautiful and timeless. It's sitcom-y. It's less fantasy. I think it's going to be like the main image I use for a lot of marketing. So be excited. Be excited for Volume 3 cover release. That's a thing that you can be excited for. And then be excited for Volume 4 as well. I got to think of other stuff to say right now. So let's thank our patrons. Sitting still for too long. I'm allergic to it. Okay, bye.